welcome back to another episode of the Currents podcast. I'm here today at Not For The Week Records with Greeno. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having me on.
When I walked in the door, I don't know if you caught it, but I was like, welcome, as if you were coming into my space.
That's what this place is all about.
Really
Welcoming everybody, everyone, and this is their own space too.
Good stuff. Can you tell us a little bit about, not to totally put you on the spot with life story, but who are you? How did you get here?
I'm Jordan Greeno, and I'm just a musician. Wanted to do this, I guess. I don't know. I've been doing music for a long time and started doing a record label and stuff, and that started to go good, and we book a lot of local shows and stuff, and I just thought it made sense to like have something like this, because like the stuff that we carry and stuff isn't going to be in like your typical store.
Got it. Are you from the area?
I'm from Hickory.
Hickory.
So Chesapeake.
Okay, got it. And so do you live in Norfolk now? Maybe you don't
I do live in Norfolk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love Norfolk.
Okay, cool. He said it, you heard it. What made you choose Norfolk? Like, how did you end up over here in like Freemason downtown? What would you call this?
Yeah, Freemason downtown. We had a DIY spot that we ran the studio out of on West 25th Street, like a couple years ago. We had that spot for 4 years. We did shows and stuff there. I did like a lot of recording there, and that's where this whole thing sparked up.
Okay.
Like, we started doing shows and stuff, and people started catching interest, and then we started putting records out.
Wow.
And then we ended up losing that spot, moved to a spot in Lynn Haven. I hate Virginia Beach. Just joking. Not. So when I just wanted to be closer to home. We hated that drive all the time. It sucked, like getting off work and then driving all the way out there just to pack records to send out. So I was just browsing online, and I saw that this place was still vacant, and it had been vacant for a while. So I just inquired and back and forths, and we ended up getting it.
Here we are.
This place is, I can't believe that we found a place like this.
Yeah, this place is sweet. Every room I'm like, oh, there's more. Like lots of hidden little secrets along the way. You mentioned, so at the top of this, you're like, I'm a musician who like wanted to do something. And I hear that, and like, that's kind of hard, I think, for many creatives, like the business kind of part behind it. You clearly like have something going on. Can you speak to that a little bit? What's that journey like?
I have always not thought about it as a business.
Okay.
If we didn't make money from any like records or anything that we put out, we would probably still put out records. It just happens to be that people started catching interest so that we are able to do something like this. But I would still be recording. I would still be putting out records. I would still be playing shows.
Yep.
It just happens.
Yeah.
We got lucky, I guess.
Cool. When people come in here, you talked a little bit about like wanting it to be welcoming. Can you tell me a little bit more about like the vision, the vibe? Who are you creating for?
So most of the stuff that we carry is in the punk world. So when people walk in, I feel like sometimes they're kind of discouraged with what we have. But I'm really open to conversation when people come in. So I really like to see what people are into, because if you're into something like in the mainstream or something, and I can connect it to like a punk band or something, I love to do that kind of stuff. So I really encourage people to come in and just ask questions. We're probably gonna engage in conversation with you before you do. So, but we're trying to carry a diverse inventory too. We're not gonna just carry punk. It's just we're fully funded by ourselves, so we just wanted to get the stuff that we knew about before we started branching into stuff that we have no idea.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What is it about punk that speaks to you?
I guess it's like the community aspect of it. Shows and stuff are always a lot of fun, like engaging with people and getting to connect through other scenes and just traveling. I think punk and hardcore is like a special type of music where it's a lot easier to get on the road, because I think the people are more open and accepting to, and probably everywhere has a hardcore punk scene as opposed to like an indie scene or something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's probably a punk scene everywhere.
That's really interesting. What I guess like, so you go on tour sometimes and then you're here as well. What's tour life like?
Long.
It sounds glamorous. So could you like break it down a little for those of us?
Fun. It's fun. I just did a 2-week long tour with this band Concept out of Athens, Georgia, that we put out on our label. And I had only really met them a couple times before I went on the road with them. And when I went on the road with them, it was like we were best friends the whole time. It was definitely exhausting, sleeping on the floor a lot or air mattress.
Yeah.
But it
That's
was
cool.
fun and it was cool. All the shows were awesome. We had a good time. Now I'm back.
Now you're back. You talk a lot about like people and relationships seem like kind of central to what you're doing.
Definitely.
Can you talk a little bit about like how that works? Like, I think a lot of people have maybe a misconception about like the punk scene and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, and like are scared to maybe like take a step in and that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Punk is just people supporting each other. That's all it is.
That's deep.
100%. It's just you support your friends, and then your friends support you. You support other scenes. Those scenes support you. That's all it is.
That's awesome.
And people like ask because we book a lot of shows, and a lot of people ask to get on shows and stuff. If I've never seen you at a show, you're probably not gonna get on a show. You come out and support, and then we'll support you. It's
Right.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's relationship building and like actually showing up
Yeah.
like before you make that ask.
Yeah.
It's so funny just in like sales and real world stuff. I think people are always getting ready for that ask and like, what can you do for me? But the like,
Yeah.
how can you show up piece feels important
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not even a money thing or anything. We don't take any money from shows. So it just goes all to like, we basically only book a show if a traveling band's coming in.
Okay.
So we'll book that and we'll give them the money.
Okay. Got it. Very
Just-
cool.
So that way, when we go out of town, we get taken care of the same way.
I love that.
We have jobs. We don't need that money. They need that money on the road.
That makes sense. Cool. As far as the recording studio and that kind of stuff, can you tell us a little bit more, if you want, about other projects that you're in, bands that we should maybe check out?
I'm in a ton of local bands. I'm in a band called Reckoning Force, Self-Inflict, Bato, sometimes RHDP. I was in a band called Lethal Means, but we recently called it quits. But yeah, the recording and stuff has been something that I've done since I was like 19. I've always recorded my own bands and my friends' bands. And like the recording thing here is only through word of mouth. Like I don't have a website or anything. That way I can kind of I don't get bombarded with a bunch of stuff that I don't necessarily want to let people down with saying I don't want to do.
Yeah, fair enough. And then you also have an upstairs space. Can you talk a little bit about that and what's happening up there?
Yeah, that is an art space that Art Hags has. It's a local artist that does a lot of community art stuff, does like flea market stuff, and helps out a ton here, like the curtains and stuff on the racks. She sewed all those.
Wow.
And all the plants in here are upkept by her. So I definitely appreciate everything that she does.
That's awesome. And when you kind of like think about next steps, where you're going, vision, like we're sitting in here and right now looking around, we have records on this side, we have some open bins on that side. Like what happens when we come back a year from now? What's the vision?
We're constantly getting inventory in. So like I said, this place is fully funded by ourselves. We don't have loans or anything. We did one GoFundMe and we got maybe $1,000, $2,000, and that really helped out making the racks and stuff. But as far as inventory, all the inventory has basically just been funded by the label and recording. So we're just slowly getting stuff in. We were open on the weekends at first so we could get a feel for like what else people were looking for.
Yeah.
I think that kind of helped, but
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, we'll mostly gonna have the punk stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll branch into like other areas and just have like little sections of that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you're listening to this, watching on social media, whatever it is, put in the comments like what you'd like to see if you're into music. Would that be cool?
That'd be amazing.
Call to action. Come on in, talk. Like, I think like what you said before, just about like being social, it's like kind of hard to take that first step, especially to talk about music. And like some people have such, I don't know, strong like boundaries and thoughts around what they think that they're not open, but it sounds like you guys are down for a dialogue.
I'm pretty open.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely have lanes of music that I don't know, but that we can always pop it on. And if I can find something to relate to that maybe we have in the store, then I love like experiences like that.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else that you want to share? Does that feel?
Come to the shop.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us in and for the conversation. We look forward to coming back.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap.